ladies and gentlemen, Chief Pastor Starter Kenny Smith, Total Force Training Group. What we talk about in this video might slay a sacred cow to some, but it's a fact of reality. We're going to talk about situational awareness. You know, I'm going to go ahead and start off and say this. Situational awareness is absolutely imperative. If you do not understand your surroundings, you are way behind the power curve for defending yourself. Fact of life, not my rule, not Colonel Cooper's rule, even though he put them in codes. That's just a fact of life, okay? If you're expecting a threat or you think there may be a threat, if you're not looking for the threat's going to get you. In fact, that's just fact. That's an unfallible fact. The next thing is you cannot assume your situational awareness is going to work, nor can you maintain paying attention to every little thing going around you 24/7, 365. It just doesn't work that way, okay? The first thing I want to hit on is, again, it is important to understand what's going on. It is absolutely important to understand what's going on. All right? By going around watching people hunting for threats, you know, doing what, you know, people who are into situational awareness do, you know, you see more of the world. It is a good thing. It's a very good thing. You know, I've run into a few people that, you know, my idiot friend is trying to play stupid jokes on me. And the good thing about that is, you know, I don't hurt them because I know who it is. You know, at the same time, when you see things when you're going around, you know, maybe you're not looking for a threat, but, you know, you see the brake lights come on, you know, 150 yards up the road. So you start slowing down from 70 now. Things like that. It is a good thing. And I'll be honest with you, I'm 20, I call it 26, I'll be 26 in September. I'm a 26-year-old single guy. When you're paying attention, you see things. You know what I'm talking about. Winning. That right there. All right, there's a call for situational awareness right there. All right, good scenery. Next, we also see some things you don't want to see, so I'm going to put that out there too. The next thing that I want to hit on of situational awareness, it's a great thing, but it's not infallible. It's a human skill. Just like every other human skill, there can very well be somebody better at you, better than you. What does that mean? Well, I used to be a criminal. Right? I've said that on quite a few videos. Honest to God truth, I used to be a bad guy. And bad guys that couldn't be sneaky were bad guys that got caught. Bad guys that got caught either got their ass kicked, got dead, or went to jail. I got my ass kicked a few times. I went to jail one night, not exactly an extended stay, not exactly something I want to repeat either. And I'm obviously still here talking to you, running my stock on this poor quality cell phone video. So obviously I was pretty good at being sneaky more often than not. I will say that when my sneakiness failed me was never when I was doing the worst of what I was doing earlier. That's just, hey, that's the way it is. You know, so criminals understand how to be sneaky. They understand how to get away from people and hide from their situational awareness. People that are looking for them, okay? People that are not necessarily not looking for them, but they're looking for trouble. And what is a criminal? A troublesome person, someone who causes trouble. You know, i.e. they are trouble. So, you know, you got someone who's maybe not actively looking for them, but who is looking for what they are. And they don't stay in their line of work if they don't get around that. All right, the criminal doesn't. So, an experienced criminal may very well get the better of you. And that's just the way it is. I mean, they don't stay in business by getting caught, right? They stay in business by not getting caught. The only way to not get caught is to be better than the situational awareness that everybody's looking for. Be there without being there kind of thing. So you have to assume that your situational awareness can be compromised. That doesn't mean you should just give it up, but that also doesn't mean you should expect it to be your fail-safe. You should always expect what you're not expecting, not just the unexpected, but whatever you're not expecting, put a little mental note back here somewhere in the back of your brain base that it can happen, and it might. Another part of situational awareness is humans are very, very two-dimensional when it comes to what we can pay attention to. Let's look at our eyes. Granted, we see in 3 dimensions, but how many planes can we see in? Not even a whole plane, okay? My peripherals, just looking straight ahead, my peripherals cover about this much, about 90 degrees. Going up, right there. That's my range of vision. About 90 degrees, about 45 degrees. Okay? That's just a rough guess, alright? I can't see what's back here. I have to turn my head. Well, when I'm turning my head to find out what's going on back here, what are you trying to do to me right now? Okay? I don't hear for shit, so that don't count. But, you know, hearing. You hear things? What the hell? Sometimes you turn your ear to find out what, you know, then you got to turn your head. Okay? It's not uncommon. And I actually know a few people who used to do this if they thought someone was looking for them, carry a handful of rocks in their pocket. I live in the middle of nowhere, so, I mean, there's a lot of tin roofs around here. If someone's looking for you, carry a handful of rocks in your pocket, reach up there and chunk it on the neighbor's roof and then run off. What the hell? And you're going off this way somewhere. It happens, okay? Criminals can get the better of your situational awareness. And the last thing I want to hit on is I know Colonel Cooper said a well-adjusted person can stay in condition yellow their entire waking life with no ill effects. That's wrong. Okay? I hate to say it, but, because, I mean, I think the man's onto something. You should strive as much as possible to stay in condition yellow. But it's just wrong. Look at it like this. How many of you have jobs where you have to pay absolute attention to what you're doing? I do. I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay? I mean, if I don't and I make mistakes on what I do, I can lose my job. So can you. Too many mistakes, so you have to pay more attention to what you're doing than what's going on around you. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything done. And if you do, it's not going to get done well. Schoolwork, you know, I'm taking classes online still. So, you know, if I'm not paying attention to my schoolwork, I may miss something. You know, now I may have to repeat that course. You know, that's something to keep in mind. There are times where you can't focus on everything and have to focus on one thing. What about when you go into condition orange, that heightened state of alert where, what's that guy doing? You know, and, you know, maybe you're trying to figure out what's going on. You know, he looks like a threat, but he might not be. So you're getting ready. What's going on back here? What's his buddy doing? Okay? You know, maybe you don't see his buddy yet. Plus one rule, right? For one you see, there's one you don't. You know, for two you see, there's two you don't. You know, things like that. Something to keep in mind. It's not infallible. So, that said, you know, it's not infallible, so why do we train it? Answer, it might not be infallible, but it's better to have and not need than need and not have. Kind of like a few other things in life, right? Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay? Better to need it and not have it. Or better to have it and not need it. Ooh, that was bad, didn't it? Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Car keys. Better to need them and have them. All right? Better to not need them and still have them than have them and not need them. Okay, other way around. Down. You can tell it's 1 o'clock in the morning, can't you? Better to not need them and have them than have that. Better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Wow, I'm saying the same shit and confusing myself because it's literally 1:02 right now, and I'm still out here doing this bullshit. Okay, so with your situational awareness, keep in mind that it's not infallible. There is somebody better than you, just like when it comes to fighting. There is somebody bigger than you. There is somebody badder than you. There is somebody meaner than you. There's someone who's a better stick fighter than you, a better knife fighter than you, a better gun fighter than you, and a damn sure better hand-to-hand fighter than you. And they're probably in better shape than you, too. Don't assume for a minute that you are the biggest, the baddest, and the best, because there's somebody better, bigger, and badder out there. And that includes me. That includes every other instructor out there. You know, that's just a fact of life. If you do not assume that there is something that can beat you, you will be beaten. Okay? You have to assume. That's why we say train for the 1%er, the person who doesn't want to survive the encounter, because that's the person that's going to do everything they can to beat you. All right? So, keep in mind with your situational awareness, you know, it's a good thing, it's a great thing. Keep it up. Oh, one more thing. When did I learn that situational awareness is not necessarily the best thing in the world? Well, there are certain instances where paying attention to everything means not paying attention to what you should be paying attention to. I went on a date with one of my now ex-girlfriends, and I think this had something to do with it, to be honest with you. And she was talking this, that, and the other, and I was hearing shit behind me, and I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on, trying to figure out what's going on back there without just doing this, you know. And I'm trying to keep good situational awareness going on. And apparently what she thought, what she was saying was important, that shit just went, you know, I mean, it didn't even go in one ear and out the other. It just went right over the head at full afterburner. I mean, like, you know, you watch Top Gun, yeah. Tower, this is Ghost Rider requested a flyby. Negative Ghost Rider, that pattern is full. Fucking, I'm doing it anyway. Bam! There it goes. That's about what it was like. So, You know, sometimes you have to dial down the situational awareness a little bit for, how can I say this politically correct, somewhat politically correct, future gain. There you go. Future benefit. That could be any number of things. Again, that could be work, that could be school, that could be that, anything. All right, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Y'all stay frosty. I'm going in the house. I'm still wide awake, but I'm too damn tired to be making more videos. Y'all have a good one.